Time to play with some gelatin. G'day guys, Beer Healer here and welcome to another homebrew video. So look, these started out as some kind of helpful instructional videos, but as you know, I'm not an expert in every part of homebrewing, so I've been getting lots of helpful hints from you guys on how to refine my techniques and all that sort of stuff. So from now on, let's call them co-learning videos. So today's the first time I've tried this method, and look, everything I do with my beer is just trying to create better beer in the home brew house. And look, someone suggested that when I didn't have the best looking beer that maybe I should use gelatin findings to help clear it up. So here we are with my first attempt of using gelatin in the brew house. On my left hand side here is my Hocus Pocus IPA that I brewed with the trusty old Brewy. Now look, it has been generously dry hopped. Something I've rectified since my last beer, and that was underdone on the dry hopping. Now look, there's been a heap of feedback from you guys on methods and quantities and all that sort of stuff with the dry hopping. So I've changed it up for this one, and I've got to tell you, the aroma coming off that right now is absolutely fantastic. Just sensational. So this beer has been cold crashing in my beer fridge for about a week now, sitting at around about 3 degrees Celsius. So it's really nice and chilled and ready to do this next step of adding the gelatin into it. So first up, you need to rehydrate your gelatin, much like you would do on your brew day with your yeast. Now the gelatin that I'm using from the supermarket, as you can see here, is nothing special, but just make sure it's unflavoured. You don't want to go throwing any sort of blueberry flavoured aeroplane jelly crystals into your beer. That just wouldn't be cool. So how much to use? Well, I've seen people calculate grams per litre and all those sorts of things, but I'm a pretty simple man, so I'm going to keep it really simple. About 150 to 200 mils of water in the Pyrex jug here, and 1 teaspoon or 5 grams of gelatin in the little dish here, and that's all that you need. So basically, you just take the gelatin and sprinkle it over the water, just like that. I'm not going to mix it. And then I'll leave it to bloom for about a half an hour or so, and then we'll come back and check on it. Alrighty, it's been about half an hour now, so time for the next step. So I'm just going to sanitize a little mini whisk here for a second and just give it a bit of a stir around just to mix it up. You can see the consistency there has changed a little bit. So we'll do that and then we'll leave it for another 15 minutes. So as you can see, the mix is really sort of starting to thicken up there with that gelatin. So now it's time to take that jug and whack it into the microwave with short 5-second bursts until we get this mix up to about 70 degrees Celsius, and then we can tip it into the fermenter. Alrighty, so that probably took a little bit longer than I thought, probably more about a minute to a minute and a half, and I sort of was doing 10-second bursts there just to make it happen a bit quicker, but we'll grab it out of the microwave now. This should be the last one, and it should be just about right up to our temperature that we require, so we'll just check that out now and see how we go. Looks good, let's go on to the next step. So we're out of the kitchen, back up into the Beer Healer shed now. It's time to add the gelatin into the fermenter, and it needs to be cold. This one here is at 3 degrees right now, but I think anything under 10 will work fine. You need it to be cold so that the yeast and the proteins are flocculated together as much as possible prior to adding the gelatin in. So what we'll do, we'll add the gelatin, and we've got our sanitized spoon here. We'll add it very gently, and then we're going to give it just a little bit of a stir around so that the gelatin gets to mix up with the liquid in there and start to do its thing. So apparently the positive charge of the gelatin attracts the yeasts and the proteins left over from the hops and the grains and all that sort of thing, and effectively joins them together into a bit of a solid, so that when you take the liquid away from that, you're left with nice clear beer. So we'll leave this in the fridge for another 24 hours, and then we'll bottle and keg it, and then we'll compare our results with the before and after. Alrighty, so it's now Friday night after work, and I'm enjoying a quiet little beer. This is a Spotty Dog Brewers from Hobart. This is their Seattle Milk Stout. Tastes delicious. But I digress. I've got the fermenter out of the fridge. It's been doing its thing with the gelatin for around about 24 or so hours now. And as you can see by looking through the top here, look down the sides of the fermenter and you can start to see more and more of the light coming through. So it really looks like it's cleared it up a lot. So I'll take a sample out of this this fermenter, and then we'll compare it, do the before and after with the stuff I took out before we chucked the gelatin in. Well, there you go. You can see the first one on the camera now before we did the gelatin, and now on the camera you can see the second one, and I'd say that's probably cleared up a fair bit, so happy days, can't wait to try this one. Well, there you go, guys, that's the gelatin lesson or co-learning video over and done with. I'm pretty happy with the way that beer looks, and it smells great, and even though it's flat, I think it's going to be a ripping beer once it's carbonated up. Cannot wait to try that one. It's going to be absolutely sensational. The fruitiness of that one is an absolute ripper. So that was the Hocus Pocus brewed with my brewy here. Stop the presses. Let's not let this video end here, because today it's a beautiful day in Hobart, and I thought I'm just going to try this beer as I've carbonated overnight. And it's looking sensational in the glass, as you can see from the pour video there, and the holding up into the sun. It looks great. Smells beautiful. Citrus fruits, tropical aromas. Tastes great. Those tropical fruits flowing into the glass. Slightly underdone on the bitterness in my opinion, but as far as I'm concerned, this is the best beer that I have brewed. So this was the Hocus Pocus from the Brewy, an IPA, and just going to enjoy a cheeky little sample here this afternoon, and then enjoy the rest on a nice quiet night at another time. Looking great, don't you think? Look, as usual, I've loved making this video, and I'm really loving the feedback and the tips and suggestions you guys send to me, so keep them coming. I love the conversations about beer. If you hadn't worked it out by now, I'm pretty passionate about what I'm doing here, but I know I've got a lot to learn. So look, until we talk again in the Beer Healer Shed, if you like what I'm doing here, please share my videos, tag a friend, or subscribe to my channels. But anyway, cheers to great beer.